The recent announcement that the U.S. has finally tested the newly upgraded Super A-10 Warthog has sent shockwaves to the global defense community, as this legendary aircraft, long respected for its brute force and battlefield resilience, returns with cutting-edge modifications that elevate it from a Cold War-era tank buster to a 21st-century multi-role combat powerhouse. Originally designed in the 1970s to destroy Soviet armor columns, the A-10 Thunderbolt II, affectionately known as the Warthog, earned its fearsome reputation for its unmatched ability to loiter in contested airspace, absorb tremendous damage, and deliver precision ground strikes with the iconic GU-8 Avenger 30mm rotary cannon. This latest upgrade, however, isn't just a retrofit. It's a transformation. With new composite armor plating, state-of-the-art avionics, digitally integrated cockpit systems, infrared targeting enhancements, and even stealth-adjacent radar-absorbing coatings in strategic areas, the Super A-10 is more lethal and survivable than ever before. The most astonishing feature perhaps lies in its expanded weapons suite. No longer confined to close air support missions alone, the upgraded Warthog now carries precision-guided missiles, long-range anti-radiation weaponry, and hypersonic-ready pods for testing. During live-fire exercises conducted at Nellis Air Force Base, pilots reported a seamless transition between legacy systems and new digital interfaces, dramatically increasing battlefield situational awareness. The jet's ability to track multiple ground targets while simultaneously maintaining electronic countermeasures against modern threats like GPS jamming and anti-aircraft radar made a powerful impression on defense officials observing the trials. One pilot, speaking under condition of anonymity, remarked that the new Super A-10 feels like flying a beast with the brain of a fighter jet and the heart of a tank. This development comes amid rising tensions across Eastern Europe and the Pacific, where U.S. air superiority and responsive air support remain critical. The Pentagon's decision to pursue this upgrade program, despite initial resistance from factions favoring newer aircraft platforms like the F-35, underscores a growing recognition that the unique battlefield utility of the A-10 cannot be easily replaced. Cost-effective, rugged, and adored by ground troops, the A-10's legacy has now been secured for decades to come, as engineers hint at the possibility of modular AI-assisted systems and autonomous loitering modes for high-risk zones. Military analysts speculate that this test run signals not just a revival, but a reimagining, potentially deploying the Super A-10s in forward operating bases with rapid response teams, or integrating them into naval operations where they can support amphibious assaults. What remains clear is that the skies over conflict zones will once again echo with the thunderous growl of the GU-8 Avenger, only this time smarter, stronger, and deadlier than ever before. And with the thundering roar of twin turbofan engines echoing across the desert test range, the upgraded Super A-10 Warthog took to the skies like a beast reborn, its wings spread wide and heavy with a fresh arsenal of high-tech weaponry and electronic countermeasures designed to meet the threats of modern warfare head-on. Unlike its original Cold War incarnation, this modernized variant carried the DNA of rugged survivability and unmatched close air support, but fused it with 21st century precision, targeting systems, and hardened avionics to create an aircraft that refuses to die even in an era dominated by stealth fighters and hypersonic drones. The cockpit, once analog and bristling with dials, now resembles that of a next-gen fighter with glass display interface, helmet-mounted cueing systems, and augmented reality overlays that allow pilots to locate, identify, and strike enemy forces faster than ever before. Engineers worked around the clock at Hill Air Force Base to integrate composite armor plating, reinforced titanium bathtub shielding for pilot protection, and enhanced infrared countermeasures to make this aircraft a flying tank that could shrug off modern man-pads and laser-guided threats. The GU-8 Avenger cannon remains its crown jewel, a 30mm rotary beast that fires depleted uranium rounds at 3,900 rounds per minute, chewing through armor like paper and still unmatched in battlefield lethality. But now it's complemented by precision-guided munitions, air-to-ground missiles, and even air-to-air capabilities that allow it to deter drones and enemy helicopters. In a series of intense live-fire exercises, the upgraded Warthog obliterated simulated enemy convoys, punctured hardened bunkers, and outmaneuvered drone swarms, shocking even its most optimistic developers at how agile and lethal the platform had become. Pilots from the 74th Fighter Squadron nicknamed the updated bird the Black Snake Reaper, after a legendary World War II unit, saying it brought the raw attitude of the old Warthog with the speed and sophistication needed for the future of warfare. In one test run, the Super A-10 approached a mountain range where enemy radar emplacements were simulated. Firing its upgraded ALQ-213 electronic warfare system, it jammed the threat signals, dived low under the radar net, and popped up just in time to unleash a salvo of AGM-65 Maverick missiles, hitting every target dead center with a 98% success rate. It's not just a machine anymore. It's a symbol, a statement from the United States Air Force that America's legacy aircraft aren't being retired quietly. They're being reborn to own the battlefield. International observers were quick to take notice, with NATO allies expressing renewed interest in the Warthog platform, particularly those stationed along the eastern flank near Ukraine, where close air support and ground attack capabilities are in constant demand. The A-10's new digital backbone also makes it drone compatible, allowing it to operate in tandem with loyal wingman drones and unmanned recon platforms, sharing target data in real time via secure data links and satellite uplinks. The Air Force's test footage, though heavily redacted for security, showed dramatic scenes of the A-10 tearing through tank formations in the Nevada desert, its cannon lit like a fire hose of fury, and its flares bursting to the sky like fireworks on the 4th of July. The upgraded engines provide more thrust while reducing heat signature, giving the aircraft better survivability in hot zones like the South China Sea, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. Pentagon insiders revealed that the Super A-10 may soon be deployed aboard mobile airfields in the Pacific Theater, where the ability to operate from short, rugged runways makes it ideal for contested island warfare scenarios. It can land and take off from roads, rough terrain, and hastily built FOBs, giving it a massive strategic edge in forward-deployed missions. Analysts believe the reintroduction of the Super A-10 is part of a broader U.S. military doctrine shift, one that acknowledges that not all fights will be won with stealth alone. In gritty, boots-on-the-ground conflicts where troops need air cover within minutes, there's no substitute for a Warthog pilot flying low and slow, visually acquiring targets, and delivering devastating firepower with pinpoint accuracy. The aircraft's psychological effect is equally significant. Ground troops have said repeatedly that when they hear the scream of the A-10's engines and the bark of the Avenger cannon, morale skyrockets because they know help has arrived. Enemies, on the other hand, know to run for cover or dig deeper, as the aircraft can loiter for hours, circling like a hawk until it finds and eliminates every threat on the battlefield. The budget for the A-10's modernization was once debated in Congress, but after the recent tests, bipartisan support has solidified behind keeping this beast in the air. Lawmakers from both sides praise the Air Force's ingenuity in reviving a classic without compromising on modern capabilities. In classified briefings, Pentagon officials reportedly emphasized that the Warthog performance in recent Middle East operations, particularly in deterring Iranian proxy movements and Houthi drone strikes, was nothing short of legendary. In one real-world deployment exercise, a pair of Super A-10s provided SAS to a joint U.S.-Iraqi special ops team under heavy fire in the outskirts of Mosul. Using new synthetic aperture radar and night vision enhancements, they were able to eliminate 8 enemy vehicles and suppress multiple enemy sniper positions, allowing U.S. forces to exfil safely. The aircraft flew home with only minor scratches despite being targeted by RPGs and small arms fire, once again proving the Warthog's unmatched durability. Looking ahead, the Super A-10 could see further integration into joint operations with Navy and Marine units, possibly even taking part in sea denial missions or anti-piracy operations where rugged, mobile air cover is necessary. The U.S. military is even considering allowing the Air National Guard to receive upgraded Warthogs to bolster homeland defense and rapid response capabilities across the continental United States. Enthusiasts and veterans alike have rallied around the aircraft's return, with online forums and aviation communities buzzing with excitement, nostalgia, and awe at what's been accomplished. Videos of the Super A-10's flybys and cannon bursts have gone viral, garnering millions of views and making headlines in defense journals around the globe. Meanwhile, Russia, China, and Iran have taken notice. Reports from foreign intelligence suggest that adversaries are reevaluating their ground tactics, aware that any engagement with U.S. forces may once again be haunted by the sound of a warthog in the sky. This fear is no illusion. The A-10 is back, and it's meaner, faster, and smarter than ever. While stealth aircraft may own the night, the Warthog owns the day, flying low, striking hard, and never backing down. This is the spirit of American air power, raw, relentless, and built to dominate the future of combat one cannon burst at a time. As the dawn broke over the horizon and the wind swept across the sun-scorched tarmac of the Nellis Air Force Base, anticipation rippled through the rows of engineers, defense analysts, and pilots gathered in tense silence. Because what was about to unfold wasn't just a test flight. It was a demonstration of American resolve, firepower, and innovation. The Super A-10 Warthog, freshly reborn from the crucible of advanced engineering and battlefield experience, stood proudly under the Nevada sun like a predator surveying its territory. Gone were the days when this flying tank was seen as an aging relic. The 2025 upgrade package transformed it into a next-gen beast. Reinforced titanium armor, state-of-the-art active protection systems, helmet-integrated targeting for its legendary 30mm GU Ada Avenger cannon, and a new thrust-vectoring turbofan engine system capable of sharper maneuvering and lower acoustic signatures. Inside the hangars, airmen prepped for launch, and the commander overseeing the operation, Lieutenant Colonel Mitchell Viper Rawlings, a decorated veteran with over 3,000 flight hours in hostile zones, gave the nod that would set off a chain of events echoing across the defense world. The crowd outside flinched slightly as the engines roared to life, low, menacing, and far smoother than any previous A-10 variant. The upgraded Warthog taxied onto the runway, its new composite winglets gleaming, designed to reduce drag and increase agility, and its bomb bays loaded with a hybrid payload of smart bombs, cluster munitions, and laser-guided Maverick missiles. In the control tower, high-ranking officers from multiple commands watched closely, knowing that what they were about to see would determine the future of close air support doctrine for the next decade. As the Super A-10 Warthog lifted off, there was no mistaking the fact that it climbed faster, turned tighter, and carried more firepower than its original variant. Its engineers had fitted it with an enhanced fly-by-wire control system, finally giving the digital nerves that could keep up with modern warfare's demands. But this wasn't just about flying fast or looking futuristic. This test was about whether the aircraft could dominate the battlefield in a simulated modern conflict scenario against a highly mobile and well-defended enemy. The test arena was a mock war zone carved into Nevada desert, bristling with SAM radar arrays, mobile anti-aircraft vehicles, and electronic jamming devices designed to mimic the very threats posed by adversaries like China, Iran, and Russia. The Warthog's first task was a deep penetration strike on a simulated armored convoy protected by radar-guided AAA and mobile Stinger-like units. In previous generations, a mission like this would require SEAD support or even a full air superiority sweep. But today, the Warthog was going in solo. At 2,000 feet, the A-10's new synthetic aperture radar locked onto ground targets through the dust and camouflage. The pilot activated the digital targeting pod, and in seconds, a precision-guided joint direct attack munition JDM detached from the undercarriage and struck the lead vehicle of the convoy with pinpoint accuracy. Chaos erupted below. Enemy emplacements opened up with digital flak simulators and infrared-guided missile tracking. Yet the Warthog, with its enhanced ECM suite and dual-layered flare chaff countermeasures, shrugged off the digital assaults. Its underbelly armor, upgraded with graphene-infused titanium, proved resistant to even the most advanced kinetic threat simulations. What followed next stunned even the observers in the command room. The A-10 performed a high G turn, swung around low over the canyon ridge, and rained a storm of tungsten from the GU, 8 cannon down, onto an enemy armor column. Its sensors calculating real-time ballistics, while HUD displayed critical data like target heat signatures, ammunition spread, and suggested escape vectors. In less than 45 seconds, an entire battalion-sized force had been digitally obliterated. The observers watching from the Joint Strike Evaluation Facility burst into applause. This was not just a success, it was a revolution in close air support. But the Warthog wasn't done yet. The mission planners had added a surprise, a simulated enemy drone swarm, emerging from a nearby hillside base and moving fast at treetop level toward the Warthog 6. This would test the A-10 situational awareness and counter-drone capabilities. Instantly, the upgraded IRSD, infrared search and track, system kicked in, identifying the incoming swarm and designating each drone as an individual threat. Without hesitation, the pilot deployed the onboard drone defeat module, a classified tech believed to combine directed energy bursts and programmable flechette canisters. The result? 10 simulated drones neutralized in under 12 seconds, each falling to Earth in an orchestrated ballet of fire and twisted wings. The message was clear. The Warthog, long considered too slow or outdated for modern drone warfare, had adapted, and adapted brilliantly. In the final leg of its test flight, the Super A-10 was rerouted toward a mock urban conflict zone, a war in the buildings and alleys where enemy infantry and light armor were staged in concealed positions. Most aircraft would need a JTAC or satellite support to operate effectively in such tight quarters, but not the new Warthog. Thanks to its newly integrated AI-assisted mapping system, the aircraft created a 3D terrain model in real time, allowing the pilot to distinguish between civilian zones and hostile elements. With precision micromissiles mounted beneath its wings and the ever-faithful Ju-8 Avenger leading the way, the Warthog tore through the streets, cleaning house with ruthless efficiency. By the time the aircraft returned to base and landed with the same terrifying grace it took off with, the entire crowd stood in stunned silence. Generals from CENTCOM, PACOM, and even foreign allies watched the playback footage in awe, realizing that the age of the A-10 was far from over. It was just beginning a new chapter. In a press briefing held shortly after, the Secretary of the Air Force addressed the media. What you've seen today is not nostalgia. It's the future of battlefield dominance. He confirmed that the upgraded Super A-10 Warthogs will be deployed forward in select Pacific and Eastern European theaters, where their ruggedness, agility, and brutal firepower would be decisive assets against mobile armored threats and asymmetric enemies. Meanwhile, on the ground, maintenance crews couldn't help but marvel how the aircraft came back with virtually no wear and tear, a testament to the new self-monitoring diagnostic system that constantly checks engine integrity, fuselage stress, and avionics health mid-flight. This wasn't just a tactical victory. It was a psychological one. While rivals like Russia and China pushed propaganda, showcasing their stealth jets and hypersonic weapons, the U.S. was quietly perfecting the art of battlefield survival and destructive precision with machine built to fight, bleed, and keep coming back. And in the cockpit of that Warthog, the pilot, call sign Brickhouse, removed his helmet, sweat pouring down his face, and said to the camera crew waiting on the tarmac, they thought the Warthog was done. They were dead wrong. The footage went viral within hours, with American citizens, veterans, and aviation enthusiasts sharing the video under hashtags like #WarthogReturns and #Super A-10. Critics who once argued for the platform's retirement now found themselves silenced, as even skeptical lawmakers from the Defense Budget Committee hailed the test as a reaffirmation of American technological superiority. As darkness fell across Nellis, and the desert air cooled, the hangar lights glinted off the Super A-10's reinforced hull, and somewhere far away, across oceans and borders, foreign analysts scrambled to adjust their war game predictions. Because now they knew the A-10 Warthog was not just back, it was better than ever, and it was ready for war. As the sun set over the Nevada desert, casting long shadows across the tarmac, the Super A-10 Warthog stood poised for its final test. The culmination of years of engineering, strategy, and sheer determination, this aircraft was more than just a machine. It was a testament to American ingenuity and resilience. The upgraded Warthog, now equipped with advanced avionics, reinforced armor, and cutting-edge weaponry, was ready to demonstrate its capabilities in a live-fire exercise that would push it to its limits. Pilots and ground crews gathered, their eyes fixed on the aircraft as it roared to life. The twin turbofan engines emitted a deep, resonant hum, signaling the Warthog's readiness. As it taxied down the runway, the anticipation was palpable. This was not just a test. It was a statement to allies and adversaries alike. In the control tower, mission commanders monitored every detail. The exercise would simulate a high-intensity conflict scenario, complete with enemy air defenses, electronic warfare, and hostile ground forces. As the aircraft took off, It climbs swiftly, its new engine providing enhanced thrust and maneuverability. The pilot, called Sign Viper, communicated with ground forces, coordinating the attack plan using its upgraded targeting systems. The Warthog identified enemy positions and deployed precision-guided munitions with pinpoint accuracy. Enemy air defenses responded, launching simulated surface-to-air missiles. The Warthog's advanced countermeasure systems activated, deploying flares and chaff to evade the threats. Its reinforced armor absorbed simulated hits, demonstrating its survivability in contested environments. Throughout the exercise, the Warthog showcased its versatility. It engaged enemy armor with its formidable Ju-8 Avenger cannon, provided real-time intelligence to ground commanders, and coordinated with unmanned aerial systems for reconnaissance. The integration of new technologies allowed for seamless communication and adaptability on the battlefield. After completing its mission, the Warthog returned to base, its performance exceeding expectations. The success of the exercise reaffirmed the aircraft's role in modern warfare and its value to the U.S. military. As the pilot exited the cockpit, applause erupted from the assembled personnel, celebrating the culmination of a project that had revitalized a legendary aircraft. The Super A-10 Warthog's journey from a Cold War relic to a modern battlefield asset is a story of transformation and perseverance. Its continued evolution ensures that it remains a critical component of the U.S. Air Force's arsenal, ready to face the challenges of today's complex security landscape.